Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Preppy. And here we are doing VRC Day 23, CAT 2022, Slot 2 Passage. So let's get started. When we teach engineering problems now, we ask students to come to a single best solution defined by technical ideals like low cost, speed to build, and ability to scale. This way of teaching primes students to believe that their decision making is purely objective as it is grounded in math and science. This is known as technical social dualism. The idea that the technical and social dimensions of engineering problems are readily separable and remain distinct throughout the problem definition and solution process. So, what the author is trying to say here is that in the engineering education, students are often taught to prioritize factors like cost effectiveness or efficiency or scalability while solving their problems. These are the technical ideals that are used to benchmark to determine the optimal solution. Now, students are led to think that their choices are entirely objective, that are based on math and science principles. Now, this teaching approach suggests that there is no subjectivity, there is no bias in engineering decisions. Now, the technical social dualism is something that refers to the belief that the technical, that is the objective, and social, which is subjective factors in engineering, can and should be treated independently, without overlapping or influencing each other. They should not influence each other. They are readily separable, and uh, they remain distinct throughout. So there is no room for subjectivity is one thing, and they are very distinct from each other. Is your second point. Now, non-technical parameters such as access to a technology, cultural relevancy, or potential harms are deemed political and invalid in this way of learning. But those technical ideals are at their core social and political choices determined by a dominant culture focused on economic growth for the most privileged segments of society. By choosing to downplay public welfare as a critical parameter for engineering design, we risk creating a culture of disengagement from societal concerns amongst engineers that is antithetical to the ethical code of engineering. All right. So factors like, who can use the technology, whether it aligns with the cultural values or the possible negative impacts are considered too political, too irrelevant in traditional engineering education. So the so-called objective technical ideals are shaped by societal and political values. This is something that you need to understand that your so-called technical ideals, they are also based on the core political choices that we make. These ideals often prioritize the interest of the wealthy and powerful rather than the societal welfare. So, ignoring the impact of engineering solutions on public welfare leads to engineers being detached from social issues, which contradicts the ethical responsibility of engineers to serve the society. In my field of medical devices, ignoring social dimensions has real causes. Most FDA-approved drugs are incorrectly dosed for people assigned female at birth, leading to unexpected adverse reactions. This is because they have been inadequately represented in clinical trials. All right. So they are saying that overlooking the social aspects of engineering and medical devices results in very negative outcomes. Many drugs approved by the FDA are tested and optimized for male bodies, leading to incorrect dosage and its side effects for those who are females. Now, the root cause of this issue is the underrepresentation of people assigned female at birth in the drug testing and clinical trials. Now, beyond physical failings, subjective beliefs treated as facts by those in decision-making roles can encode social inequalities. For example, spirometers routinely used to devices that measure lung capacity still have correction factors that automatically assume smaller lung capacity in Black and Asian individuals. These racially based adjustments are derived from the research done by eugenists who thought these racial differences were biologically determined and who considered non-white people as inferior. These machines ignore the influence of social and environmental factors on lung capacity. All right. So when subjective and biased views are treated as facts by decision makers, it reinforces the systematic inequalities that last in the technology and engineering solutions. For example, they have given that spirometers are designed with built-in assumptions that Black and Asian people, they naturally have smaller lung capacities, reflecting outdated and very discriminatory beliefs. All right. So the correction factors stem from eugenics, a discredited science that claims that racial differences in lung capacity were biologically fixed, and this was used to justify the inferiority of the non-white people. All right. Now, the design of these devices disregards how social conditions like poverty or let's say environmental exposure or any other factors impact lung health diseases, perpetuating the biases. Now, many technologies for systematically marginalized people have not been built because they were not deemed important, such as better early diagnostics and treatment for diseases like endometriosis, a disease that afflicts 10% of people with uteruses. And we hardly question whether devices are built sustainably, which has led to crisis of medical waste and healthcare, accounting for 10% of US greenhouse gas emissions. So they are just trying to say that marginalized groups, they are often overlooked in this technological development. They have given an example as well. And we hardly question the environmental impact of these medical devices, including the waste and emissions. We don't even know if they are built sustainably. Now, social justice must be made core to the way engineers are trained. This is the main essence. Some universities are working on this. Engineers taught this way will be prepared to think critically about what the problems we choose to solve, how do we do it responsibly, how do we build teams that challenge our ways of thinking. So integrating social justice principles into engineering education is very important to address the societal challenges. And engineers educated with a focus on social justice will be equipped to select meaningful problems, solve them effectively, and collaborate as well. Individual engineering professors are also working to embed societal needs in their pedagogy. Darshan Karwat at the University of Arizona developed activist engineering to challenge engineers to acknowledge their full moral and social responsibility through practical self-reflection. Khalid Kadir at the University of California, Berkeley, created the popular course Engineering, Environment and Society that teaches engineers how to engage in place-based knowledge and understanding of the people, context, and history to design better approaches, technical approaches, and collaboration with the communities. When we design and build with equity and justice in mind, we craft better solutions that respond to the complexity of the entrenched systematic problems. So they are just telling how individual professors are also, doing this. Some have included practical self-reflection. Some have the subjects of engineering, environment, and society that they teach how to engage in this place-based knowledge that they are giving, so that you can understand what all the biases can be there and all of that. So when we do it with equity and justice, we can craft better solutions for all, is what the author is trying to say. Now let's get started. In the passage, author is making a claim that technical social dualism has emerged as a technique for engineering students to incorporate social conditions. No, this is exactly what the author is not trying to say. The objective of best solutions in engineering has shifted the focus of pedagogy from humanism to social obligations to technological perfection. Is there a shift? We don't know. We don't know anything about this. Engineering students today are trained to be non-subjective in their reasoning, as this best enables them to develop much needed universal solutions. Best enables them. No, that is not the claim that author is making. Author is making this claim. Author is making this claim. Engineering students today are taught to focus on objective technical outcomes independent of the social dimensions of their work. Exactly. And they do not focus on them, on the social dimensions of their work. यहाँ पे बेस्ट enables ने गड़बड़ कर दी यहाँ पे humanism का shift जो है वहाँ पे, and this is completely against the idea of the fact. So fourth is your answer. The author gives all of the following reasons for why marginalized people are systematically discriminated against in technology related interventions, except. So, which is not the reason that you have to identify. All right. And we hardly question whether devices are built sustainably, which has led to a crisis of medical waste and healthcare, accounting for 10% of greenhouse gas emissions. Now, why marginalized? We are talking about marginalized people. We are talking about discrimination. This is something completely out of context. This is not something that is related to this one. So, might be your answer. These racially based adjustments are derived from research. Racially based adjustment, it is giving you a reason. Beyond physical failing, subjective beliefs treated as facts also can encode social inequalities. This is also there. And next one, the political choices determined by a dominant culture focused on economic growth for the most privileged segments. So this is also showing the discrimination. One is your answer. All of the following are examples of negative outcomes of focusing technical ideals in medical sphere, except that. What is a positive one? Incorrect assignment of people as female at birth, which has resulted in faulty drug intervention. Okay. Uh, Exclusion of non-privileged groups in technical trials, which leads to incorrect drug dosages. All right. Neglect of research and development of medical technologies for the diagnosis and treatment of diseases that typically afflict marginalized communities. Okay, this is also negative. Continuing calibration of medical devices based on past racial biases. This is also negative bias. This is also negative outcome. This is also negative as outcome. Incorrect assignment of people as female at birth. It's not that people हाँ मतलब इनकरेक्ट असाइनमेंट नहीं हो रहा है उनका. इट्स जस्ट फीमेल्स को उन्होंने क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स में इंक्लूड नहीं किया है एंड इसीलिए इन पे थोड़ा साइड इफेक्ट्स होता है. तो इनकरेक्ट असाइनमेंट इज कंप्लीट डिस्टॉर्शन. सो दिस इज योर आंसर. We can infer that the author would approve a more evolved engineering pedagogy that includes all of the following except moving towards social technical dualism, where social community needs are incorporated in problem definition and solutions. Okay, moving towards social technical dualism. Okay, making considerations of environmental sustainability. Yes, design that is based on needs of communities using local knowledge. Yes, you should have knowledge. यहाँ पे भी दे रखा है. More responsible approach uh, to this one and problem solving than focus on speed. Yes, to technical design and problem solving than focus on speed in developing and bringing to scale. All right, here moving towards social dualism. Technical social dualism is a factor that so the technical objective and subjective चीजें दो distinct है. That is what social dualism sees. So author would not want this one, social dualism, and hence first is your answer. Now, today many of the debates about behavioral control in the age of big data echo Cold War anxieties about brainwashing, insidious manipulation, and repression in the technological society. In this book, Han warns of the sophisticated use of targeted online content, enabling influence to take place on a pre-reflexive level. On our current trajectory, freedom will prove to have been merely an interlude. The fear is that the digital age has not deliberated us but exposed us by offering up our private lives to machine learning algorithms that can process masses of personal and behavioral data. In a world of influencers and digital entrepreneurs, it's not easy to imagine the resurgence of a cultural gendered through disconnect and disaffiliation, but concerns over the threat of online targeting, polarization, and big data have inspired recent polemics about the need to rediscover solitude and disconnect. They are just saying that because of the big data world that we live in, we are, and there is a targeted online content, and now there is no freedom to us, and there is no freedom for us. There is no privacy that is given to us. There is a lot of disconnect and disaffiliation that is going on. Rather than freeing us, it is enslaving us by collecting personal information and influencing our online behavior. It's not just influencing your online behavior, Taliban, it's influencing your entire one and enslaving us, very big term to use. With big data making personal information freely available, exactly, the debate on the nature of freedom and the need for the privacy has resurfaced. Yes, The notion of freedom and privacy is at stake in a world where AI is capable of influencing behavior through data gathered online. There are a lot of world of influencers, there are digital entrepreneurs. The role of technology in influencing public behavior is reminiscent of the manner in which behavior was manipulated during the Cold War, not the main idea. Hence, second is your answer. This was years in making, but fast tracked during the pandemic when people started being more mindful about their food. All right, he explained. He explained तो कुछ किसी की तो बात आएगी. This was years in the making, but fast tracked during the pandemic when people started being more mindful about their food. For millennia, ghee has been a venerated staple of the subcontinental diet, but it fell out of flavor a few decades ago, and saturated fats were largely considered to be healthy. But more recently, as the thinking around saturated fats is shifting globally, Indians are finding their way back to its ingredient that is integral to their cuisine. यहाँ पे तो बिल्कुल नहीं आएगा because he explained that. यहाँ पे किसी का बात ही नहीं हो रहा है. हर कुछ फॉर कर्मकार और रिनाउंड यहाँ पे भी नहीं आएगा क्योंकि अगेन ही एक्सप्लेन ही का जिक्र ही नहीं हुआ है. फॉर कर्मकार renewed interest in ghee is emblematic of a return to basics movement in India. This movement is also part of an overall trend towards slow food. In keeping with the movement's philosophy, ghee can be produced locally and has inextricable cultural ties. At a basic level, ghee is a type of clarified butter believed to have originated in India as a way to preserve butter from going rancid in the hot climate. यहाँ पे आ सकता है because you are introducing Karmakar who has interest in ghee and who is an emblematic of return to basics movement in India. This was years in making, but fast tracked during the pandemic when people started being more mindful of their food. यहाँ पे आ सकता है. So third is your option.